Yan ang sinasabi natin. Kung mayroon na dapat may interest dito, na i-arap si Gutesa, si Marcoleta yon. Kailangan talaga pabalikin ni Marcoleta. Hindi po pwede na hindi na mag-appear si Gutesa sa susunod na Senate hearing. Kasi lalong madudurog yung testimony. Kasi yung affidavit pa lang po, piki yung notaryo. Ano ba? Kailangan may mag-corroborate. At yung sinasabing si Paul and Mark, yun ang dapat mag-corroborate. Kaya lang sa nakuha nating unang information, 2 weeks ago, nag-execute na po ng affidavit din itong si Paul and Mark. Tingsay yata yun. Tiksay. Pinapasinungalingan yung lahat ng kwento ni Gutesa. You see, kaya mahirap itong mga akusasyon, mga kababayan ni Gutesa. Pag hindi niya na-substantiate, lalo't yung affidavit niya, hindi siya familiar at na-discovering peke yung notaryo. Yan tanong ni Atty. Rondain, asanaan niya siya ngayon? Iharap ninyo si Gutesa sa Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, Marcoleta. Yan ang obligasyon mo. Pag hindi mo yan inarap, tapos na yung kwento ninyo, yung script ninyo. Wala na. Tunaw na yan. Durog na, gutay-gutay. Hello po mga kababayan, si Dante Maravillas. Kanina nagpa-press con yung abogado ni Saldico. Ayan si Atty. Roy Rondain. Ayan Ang sabi mga kababayan ni Atty. Roy Rondain, si Saldico daw wala pang intensyong umuwi kasi natatakot sa kanyang buhay. May death threat talaga daw sa kanya. Seryoso niya yung banta sa buhay ni Saldico. At hindi niya rin alam kung saang bansa ito kasalukuyang nananatili. Sabi ni Atty. Roy Rondain, maari umanong dumalo ang kanyang kliyente sa pagdinig ng Senate Blue Ribbon Committee kapag humupa na ang natatanggap nitong death threats. He has a general fear of being shot, whether by a vigilante or a political enemy. He does not even know. Di niya alam kung saan daw si Saldico ngayon, pero ang latest information daw ng whereabouts ni Saldico, he was in Boston sometime between September and October for medical reasons. Yan mga kababayan yung kanyang sinabi kanina. Kung anong grupo ang nananakot kay Saldico, hindi man masabi ng kanyang abogado. Baka daw mga political enemies or vigilante. Ibig sabihin yung mga galit dahil sa sumabog na mga controversy sa flood control scam, mga kababayan. Baka may mga grupo na magka-interes na saktan mga kababayan siya. Yan at least yung paliwanag ni Saldico sa pamamagitan ng kanyang abogado. Pakinggan natin yung kanyang statement. Maniwala kayo sa hindi. Importante, alam ninyo kung kaano ang gustong ipasabi ni Saldico sa pamamagitan ng kanyang abogado. So hindi nangulugan na pag ito ay sinare ko sa inyo na information, naniniwala tayo sa kanyang kwento. Di ba po? Obligasyon natin bilang isang journalist na iparating sa inyo ang mga kaganapan sa ating paligid, lalo na po dito sa may relasyon sa mga controversies. Pag may mga makita tayong mga bagay-bagay na parang nililigaw tayo sa totoong kwento, then we will react. Meanwhile, pakinggan natin si Atty. Roy Rondain.
Okay. Again, my client, Representative Saldico, has been asking me for the last few months to say something in reaction to the various accusations made against him. No? Now, those of you who have met me in the past know that I do not litigate my cases in the media. I litigate only in courts of law where only admissible evidence matters. But I've been monitoring the news, and the narrative has become so skewed, has become so twisted, no? Because of the misinformation, deliberate or not, spread by interested persons in these cases. And against my better judgment, maybe I figured it's time to say something. Now, Representative Go would have wanted to be here himself so he can answer your question. Fortunately, there are credible and serious threats to his life na he's to come out at this time. Now, hopefully I can answer some of your questions. I don't have a prepared statement. Hopefully I can answer some of your pressing questions, and hopefully we can, the objective is to realign, to redirect the narrative para, so we level the playing field again, because I'm afraid that not only the press but the people in general have been misled by inaccurate statements and interpretations of the law, as you might have noticed. Now, let me jump the gun, because I know someone will ask this inevitably. I do not know where he is. I do not know where he is because I never asked him where he is. It's not relevant for his defense. And I never asked because I don't want to have to lie to any of you when you ask me that question as to where he is. I never asked. So, let's go. Yes? I know you, Camille.
Mentioned na hindi po nagmamatter yung kung saan nasaan si Mr. Go, no, with his defense, but the ombudsman already sent a letter, I think, po sa residence ni Mr. Go para makapag-file siya ng counter affidavit. So ano po yung magiging tugon ng legal team for this? Kasi ang sinasabi po ni Assistant Ombudsman Miko Clavano, kapag hindi po tinik po ito ni Mr. Go yung opportunity to file his counter, mawawalan na po siya ng chance, and then they will proceed with the resolution. Is Mr. Go planning to file his counter here personally in the Philippines or in a Philippine embassy abroad?
Ang sinabi ko, Camille, na hindi relevant yung presence niya. Ang sabi ko, hindi relevant yung knowledge ko kung nasan siya. Now, his presence is, of course, required for him to answer yung charges. But let me be clear, I have not seen any complaint. No? Kasi a criminal investigation has to be initiated by a complaint. Meron naman kayo nakitang complaint? Anyone? When I say complaint, I mean something that has been sworn to under oath. And the only thing I've heard is that the ICI has referred its tentative findings to the Ombudsman. I don't think it's under oath, so I don't think that was a complaint. Now, under the Ombudsman's own rules, if there is an unsworn to complaint that's not verified, the Ombudsman is required to ask the witnesses to swear to it, to swear to supporting affidavits, and also the complainant, whom is also unidentified as of now, to submit a sworn affidavit. So, I don't know what he's supposed to answer. But that said, ang observation ko is that the Ombudsman Boying Remulla, has already said that he intends to file these cases by November 25. Now, assuming Mr. Go is served today, that doesn't give them a lot of time for him to answer and for the Ombudsman to review and to write a resolution. My thinking is the Ombudsman has already prejudged this case. And this is bolstered by the statements of Secretary Vince Dizon, who said 60 people will be in jail by Christmas. Under these circumstances, there's really no tactical benefit to filing a counter affidavit. So the answer is, at this time, the way things are going, no, he does not intend to file a counter affidavit.
But, sir, kung ipatawag ba si Mr. Go, is he willing to personally attend? Like, for example, in the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee is inviting him in the next hearing, which is on November 14. Is he planning to attend? Because in the past, he would release a statement na he will answer the allegations in the proper forum. This time, he's being given the chance to explain himself.
I don't know what he has to explain to the Senate, because the Senate is investigating facts. Wala pa naman accusations sa Senate. And like I said, he's deathly afraid of coming home because may serious threats to his life. One half of the country wants to throw him in jail and throw away the key. The other half wants to string him up by the nearest tree. Would you come home under those circumstances? I wouldn't recommend that he come home. But to the extent possible, we will we will respond to the Senate if we're invited.
Attorney, good morning. This is Chill po from DZXL RMN. Yes po.
Hi, Chill.
Yes, good morning po. Attorney, is Representative Zaldico willing to release his SALN?
No need. Ombudsman Remulla has reversed the martyr's lock on SALNs. Anyone can get his SALNs from the Ombudsman. Correctly? I think that's what one of the first things he did was to unlock the SALNs.
Yeah, but sir, release his SALN.
He doesn't have to come in. It's open to anyone.
Bansa.
Okay.
Tatlo pala, attorney, sorry.
Okay. Si representative ko wala siyang may-ari na any aircraft. I understand that any aircraft related to him is owned by Mississippi's Aviation. Na-separate si Mr. Ko sa Mississippi's. You should ask the lawyer of Mississippi's. I'm not the lawyer. But see, yan na yung isang misinformation na malaki. That's the reason we're here. Because Secretary Dizon keeps saying na i-freeze lahat yan, i-confiscate yan. If you look at his SALN, yung Mississippi's Aviation was incorporated in 2004, 2008. Now, Zaldico became a congressman in 2019. So, yung aviation company na in which he owns stock is was already 15, 16, 17 years old before he became when he became a congressman. Now, sinasabi ni Secretary Dizon na ifo-forfeit daw. Dalawa lang ang forfeiture dito. No? A criminal forfeiture will require a criminal conviction, that's final. A civil forfeiture will require proof and a final decision that the forfeited property was illegally acquired. How can something that was acquired by a company 17 years before he became a congressman be illegally acquired?
So sa madaling salita, so hindi po kay Representative Zaldico yung tatlong chopper?
No. Not that I know of na meron siyang personal na chopper. Must be Mississippi's Aviations, which again is an old company. Okay. Naka-report sa SALN niya yun, ha?
Thank you, Attorney.
Sir, good morning.
Hi.
Hannah po from Billionario.
Hi, Hannah.
Clarification lang din tungkol dun sa naging Senate Blue Ribbon hearing nung September. Basically, mainit po kasi yung mata ni Congressman Zaldico sa publiko because of the supposed cash deliveries made by his Orly Guteza. First, sir, can you confirm if Guteza a former aide of Zaldico?
The first time I heard that name was at the Senate hearing, or was it the House? I learned about that Mr. Guteza's name. I heard Mr. Guteza's name for the first time at the same time you did. Nahirinig ko. I know that he had two aides, something biblical. Matthew, Luke, something.
Mark and Paul, sir?
Whatever. Na former aides niya. But I understand also that they were no longer connected with him at the relevant time. Now, if you're asking me whether or not there were deliveries to Representative Go at any time, no. Categorical.
You deny all the cash deliveries, including the
To
luggage,
him?
sir? Yes, to his house, to his condo.
Who's making that accusation, Hannah?
It was Orly Guteza who
And where is he now?
we can't find him, sir. It's for us to find out.
There you
But
go. You have to forgive me, you know.
Yan ang sinasabi natin. Kung mayroon na dapat may interest dito, na i-arap si Guteza, si Marcoleta yon. Kailangan talaga pabalikin ni Marcoleta. Hindi po pwede na hindi na mag-appear si Guteza sa susunod na Senate hearing. Kasi lalong madudurog yung testimony. Kasi yung affidavit pa lang po, piki yung notaryo. Ano ba? Kailangan may mag-corroborate. At yung sinasabing si Paul and Mark, yun ang dapat mag-corroborate. Kaya lang sa nakuha nating unang information, 2 weeks ago, nag-execute na po ng affidavit din itong si Paul and Mark. Tingsay yata yun. Tiksay. Pinapasinungalingan yung lahat ng kwento ni Guteza. You see, kaya mahirap itong mga akusasyon, mga kababayan ni Guteza. Pag hindi niya na-substantiate, lalo't yung affidavit niya, hindi siya familiar at na-discovering peke yung notaryo. Yan tanong ni Atty. Rondain, nasaan niya siya ngayon? Iharap ninyo si Gutesa sa Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, Marcoleta. Yan ang obligasyon mo. Pag hindi mo yan inarap, tapos na yung kwento ninyo, yung script ninyo. Wala na. Tunaw na yan. Durog na, gutay-gutay.
No, my brain isn't trained to think that way. I'm always evidence-based. Kaya nga, the reason why you're here is para ma-realign nga natin, ma-redirect natin yung narrative. Na wag naman chismis, wag naman speculation. Because hindi tatayo in a court of law.
Would you say, sir, ito po yung isa sa mga sinabi nyo kanina na narrative na skewed?
Yes. Because who's saying na mayroon deliveries? Did they see my client receive the delivery of money? I'll even reduce it to an absurdity, Is it possible na may utang lang sila, nagbayad sila?
Sir, is Congressman Zaldico willing to attend any Senate Blue Ribbon probe? I believe invitations were sent already.
Again, he will as soon as the threat to his life is abated.
By who, sir? Sino po ang may
Look
nagte-threat?
around you. Ang dami, it's all over social media. I'm not tech savvy. Nakikita ko everyday mga threats sa kanya. Isabit na yan, bitayin na yan, etc. etc.
Virtually, sir, at least.
Virtually, what does that mean?
Via Zoom. If
Siya?
he will. Kasi, sir, I believe there's a quotation that flight is an indication of guilt. So, if ever ba willing po siyang humarap para at least marinig din ng taong bayan yung side niya.
Okay, number one, wala pang criminal case against him. As far as I know, wala pang criminal accusation. Number two, yung flight is an indication of guilt is a misused term. Hindi yan ang ibig sabihin yan if you look at its history under U.S. federal law. I'll discuss that with you privately. Masyado mahaba.
Sige, sir.
But outdated yung, misused and outdated yung concept na yan.
So would you say he's not, hindi siya tumatakas, basically?
No. Kasi Hannah remembered that he flew out for medical reasons way before this whole thing blew up. Diba? When did this blow up? After the SONA. He flew out as early as February, I think. So hindi siya tumakbo. Let's get that clear. Again, let's redirect the narrative.
Good morning, sir. This is Arles from One News po.
Arles?
Yes po.
Hi, Arles.
I have seen the Ombudsman referral, the ICI's referral to the Ombudsman wherein Bryce Hernandez claimed that he delivered a bulk of cash on the first quarter of 2025 in his in-cost residence in Valle Verde, wherein there's no furniture inside, just luggages of cash, and then it was received by a certain Paul Estrada.
Okay.
Has Co ever confirmed or denied these allegations?
Na may delivery?
Both having Paul Estrada and his residence having no furniture at all.
We talked about that and he said, I have no knowledge about any delivery. Because if you talk to Mr. Hernandez, I'm sure he will say that my client was not there. And again, she said, he said yan eh. Because he says that he delivered it, and yet he admits to owning a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, everything else. And Representative Ko is just saying, no such thing ganyan. So who do you believe?
But on the latter part of the Ombudsman referral case, sir, there's a certain sentence there wherein received by a certain Paul Estrada with an acknowledgement receipt being kept by Alcantara. So have you also to a certain Paul Estrada and having him on cause?
I'm not, like I said, I heard that Mr. Estrada, Paul, was once upon a time employed by him or employed for him. I'm not sure, but at the relevant time, maybe during the deliveries, that he was no longer employed by Representative Ko. I don't know. I can get back to you. Hindi naman ito yung last natin. I can get back to you on that. Understand that I don't know everything about the case just yet. I'll get back to you.
And then, sir, you've said that Ko has serious threats in his life.
Yes.
So does this mean that he also has pangamba or hindi pagtiwala sa pamahalaan that he can be safely, safeguarded just to face all the allegations to him?
Hindi naman. But the government cannot protect you all the time eh. Diba? Walang guarantee na ganyan. People die in jail. Diba? People with a shot in the head, and you have heads of state surrounded by 20 armed men who still downed by a sniper. Ako personally, ang bigger fear ko is vigilante violence. because everyone hates him. That's the reason I'm here. Again, no, I don't litigate in the media, but the reason I'm here is because maybe we can tone down the temperature, we can lower it a little bit, because personally I'm deathly afraid of vigilante violence. Someone who thinks that he's a moral guardian of the Filipino people will just take a paltik.
So, hindi mo mabiblame yung abogado, mga kababayan ni Saldico. Siyempre, safety ng kanyang client. Sabi niya, I would advise niya sa kanya na huwag magpakita. Kasi nga, grabe yung mga pananakot sa social media. Grabe mo yung mga pagbabanta. Di ba? So, hindi nakatulong yung mga pagbabanta. Kailangan kasi po, due process, i-respeto natin yung due process. Huwag yung EJK. Nasanay kasi sa EJK. Kaya ganon mga kababayan. Hindi maganda yung ganyan. Kahit nga yung pag-atake sa mga diskaya doon sa sa bahay nila. Hindi tayo konforme sa mga ganong sistema. Padaanin natin sa due process. May batas po. Panagutin natin sa batas yung mga nagkakasala po. Kaya itong ginagawa ng ating gobyerno, yung ICI. Respeto natin po yung proseso. Ayan tuloy. Imbis makatulong para madali na mapanagot yung mga nagkasala, hindi po baliktad yung nagiging epekto.
And shoot him anywhere.
Sir, siguro last na lang, no? Because the year is ending, 2026 is fast approaching. I know this might sound so vague and irrelevant, but how long is Zaldico planning to not go back to the country, aside from just like pahupain lahat ng threats sa life niya? How long will the Filipino people wait for his response on all the allegations?
Well, I'll try to respond as best I can, but yung fear kasi is subjective. I can't tell him na don't be afraid. In the same way that I can't tell you not to be afraid of something. If he fears, and again, I don't blame him, if he fears that there are threats to his life, I don't blame him, and I wouldn't recommend that he come home either under these circumstances.
Na po from GMA.
Hi, Tina.
Sir, you said kanina po that the information are skewed against former representative Ko. What did you mean by that?
The narrative.
The narrative.
Yes.
What did you mean by that?
I'll give you an example. Ang daming nagtatanong, in fact, it's a very hot topic na yung corruption ng corruption in general, whether it's a budget or yung mga itong flood control projects, di ba? You have to understand that there is no such thing as generic corruption. In fact, there is no such thing as a generic crime. When you accuse someone of a crime, you have to indicate with precision the what, where, when, who, and how. Diba? You can't say that I killed someone. You have to tell me I killed Juan de la Cruz in San Juan on this date with a knife. Diba? So if you say corruption, may mga specific elements yan. And one indispensable element of corruption is there has to be damage to the government. Actual damage in the nature of civil actual damages. So if you say that may corruption, let's say yung 2025 budget, diba naririnig ko yan, ano yung damage to the government hindi nga implemented? What is the corruption? What is the extent? What is the precise damage to the government? That's a corruption na yun.
What about the previous years, sir? 2023, 2024?
Again, in line with my reason, with my thinking, you have to tell me what the accusation is. What's the accusation, Tina?
So dapat specific.
Projects.
Which flood control project?
They listed several in the hearings.
Yeah, but you're asking me to answer a generic question. Yeah. Okay, Oriental Mindoro. Ano yung one? Okay. Kasama ba si Representative Ko?
SunWest as well.
He's not SunWest. See, that's the thing.
Among.
Yes, if you look at his SALN, and I know this for a fact that he divested from SunWest before he became a congressman. Again, yan na nga yung skewed narrative. The person, the stockholder, is not the corporation. If I own shares in federal land, doesn't mean I can stay in Grand Hyatt for free just because federal land owns Grand Hyatt. Diba? So, just because he's a member of a corporation, which he is not, SunWest, let's get that clear. Just because SunWest is accused of something, that doesn't filter down to the stockholders. Again, he's not a stockholder. But I don't represent SunWest, though. You should ask SunWest's lawyers. But let's get it right lang. If there's a wrong committed by a corporation, that wrong does not contaminate the stockholders.
Sir,
Otherwise, lahat tayo sa pool na.
go ahead.
Yeah, that's it.
Where is he now, sir?
I don't know. Last I heard, he was in Boston for his medicals.
The Senate has reports that two of his executive assistants, who are potential witnesses in the Senate investigation, have joined him in Europe. John Paul Estrada and Mark Texay. Do you have any information on that?
I have no info, but I did read earlier that one of them was in Chile, not in Europe.
Which
I don't
one,
know
sir?
if he's one of, I don't know, Luke Paul.
But you confirm, sir, nasa Chile na ako?
No, I don't know. I've never met them, never spoken with them, and I don't feel like talking to them at this time. Di ba relevant sa akin eh.
Sir, when was the last time you talked to former Representative Ko?
Last night.
And did you ever ask him where he was? Weren't you curious?
No, I'm curious personally, but I can't be curious as a lawyer because hindi relevant. And I don't want to lie to you. If you're asking me now, I'm looking you in the eye. I'm telling you honestly that I don't know because I never asked him. Again, because it's not that knowledge is not relevant to me at this time.
How do you communicate, sir?
Phone?
Phone?
Yes.
But you can tell from the number
No, I cannot.
where his location is.
No, I cannot.
Oh.
If you're asking me whether it's a foreign SIM,
Yes, sir.
can't tell you. I wouldn't know myself.
Okay. Sir, kanina you also mentioned that you fear vigilante violence.
Personally?
Yes. But is that also Mr. Ko's fear when he returns to the Philippines?
He has a general fear of being shot, whether by a vigilante or by a political enemy. He doesn't know. I can't answer that with precision.
So is it safe to say that in the next few months until next year, we won't see him in the Philippines?
We'll see him as soon as the fear of violence against him abates. So I don't know. Might be next week, might be January, I don't know. Sure.
Good morning po. Ben Pulta po sa Philippine News Agency.
Hi, Ben.
Clarify ko lang, sir, yung the SALN is generally available. That's what you're saying. Pero
Yes.
only if you can answer, how much did the assets did Mr. Ko declare the first time he was a lawmaker?
Oh, I can answer that. 4.1 billion in 2019. Let me point out, ito na naman yung skewed narrative. I did some research, and who's the richest senator you know? Alex. Mark Villar declared a net worth of 1.4 billion. His mother, Cynthia, declared in 2020 a net worth of 3.8 billion. Next is Manny Pacquiao, 3.1 billion. Or the other way around, one or the other. So, in 2020, when Representative Ko joined Congress in 2019, 1 year earlier, he was already richer than Cynthia Villar or Manny Pacquiao. Just to keep it in context. What's your question?
Sir, thank you for that, sir. Pero did it grow? Follow up lang doon sa question. Did the assets grow? Would you know if
There was movement. It was relatively flat, the movement. But I remember it did grow, but even that is not an indication of criminality, just so you know, Alex. Kasi naka-file naman ng ITR eh. And there was a very refreshing take on this. I don't remember who said it. I think it might have been Ronald Llamas. Kung magnanakaw ka, luko-luko ka ba't idedeklara mo sa SALN mo yung ninakaw mo? Naturalmente, hindi, di ba?
Sir, if tawa ko kung pwede, sir, if you can go to yung legal theory,
Sure.
But the acts attributed to Ko, maliban dun sa accusation ni Gutesa that money was actually delivered to his house by so-and-so, yung acts of passing a law to encourage projects, and that these projects supposedly some of them were not implemented at all, would that, in your say, form part of your legal theory? Would that make him liable? I mean, it's like paying and someone else did not deliver, right?
I assume you're talking about yung unang pumutik ito, yung mga ghost projects sa Bulacan. Yung preliminary research namin is that yung mga ghost projects na yon, part of the NEP yon, yung National Expenditure Program. So hindi yun insertion. Easy? So saan ba galing ang NEP? Hindi ba galing sa executive yan?
Sir, but the proponents apparently had a part in, Mr. Ko apparently had a part in the actions of the proponents?
No. That's what I'm saying. Yung NEP is prepared by the DBM in consultation with the other executive offices. Sinasubmit yan sa appropriations. Hindi nakialam doon si Representative Ko as far as I know. Kasi NEP nga eh. Tapos noon, from what I know, from what I gather, meron mga requests na separate yung other executives, other government offices. Other government offices, yun ang sinasabi na insertion. But ang technical term is congressional initiative or something like that. Ayan pa eh, we keep saying insertion kasi it's a very colored term, insertion, parang masama ang dating. But then, everyone is saying, Senator Lacson himself said na hindi masama ang insertion. Huwag natin kulayan yung term.
Sir, last two so others can ask a question.
Sure.
My second to the last question is dun sa air assets. The government is saying that it has fled the Philippines and it's probably been disposed outside the country despite having not been deregistered locally.
Sorry, I just received word that one has ran out of its mic, so we might want to fix that before moving forward. I'm not sure.
Wala daw audio?
Yeah, walang audio. In one of the live streams, maybe Inquirer GMA.
Sir, you're saying that it's really owned by Misibis at all and that he doesn't own any of the fixed-wing aircraft?
I'm assuming that it's owned by Misibis. I'm sure that he personally doesn't own any aircraft.
Sir, the fact that these aircraft have been disposed at this time when the issue is very hot, would you say it's at the least suspect?
I am not counsel to the aviation companies, so it wouldn't be fair for me to speculate on that.
Okay. Sir, more on the skewed narratives. One of the more stranger narratives in social media is that organized crime groups daw in Europe is after Mr. Ko. How can you comment on this?
I cannot, but that scares me a bit. Kung merong organized crime going after him, so he's neither safe here nor there. Scary. That's my comment.
Hello po, Sir. Agatha Gregorio po from ABS-CBN News. A while ago po, you denied the cash deliveries. You made some denials about the accusations being made nga po. Do you have any speculations as to why these allegations are coming around in the first place?
Ako, I will look at who made the admissions and who's making the claim that there were deliveries. And then you look at the credibility of the utterer, of the person who made the statement.
And then when you were asked if the former congressman would be willing to go back home, you said there was no criminal case anyways to go to the hearings. But from his team, is there any willingness, even any representative to be sent to talk about the matter?
No, he's not unwilling because there's a case. No, he's unwilling. He's not prepared because meron ngang serious threats to his life. Now, is he willing to send a representative? Well, we're here, and we're trying to answer as much as we can, as best we can. Sa Senado, I don't know if they'll accept me. Probably not. But at least I think the Senate owes an official explanation on why he cannot why he cannot attend, just in case nga na maimbitahan siya. I don't know whether he flew to Spain.
That whoever gave his flight details will go into whoever that is. But is that an admission that you really...
No, I said without admitting the accuracy. Kasi you're not supposed to passport details nakaleak. Diba? Seat number nakaleak. Ay yung passport na lang. Would you give me your passport details? You would not, diba? I'm not gonna give you mine. Yun na lang, may data privacy leak na eh. O may mga AI videos pa na, you know, yung sinesimulate na kumakain siya and then tumakbo siya, nagtakip na mukha. Not supposed to, you're not supposed, passport details nakaleak eh. Diba? Seat number nakaleak. Ay yung passport na lang, would you give me your passport details? You would not, di ba? I'm not gonna give you mine. Yun na lang, may data privacy leak na eh. O may mga AI videos pa na, you know, yung sinesimulate na kumakain siya and then tumakbo siya, nagtakip na mukha. No. If I did, I don't know. I'm not denying because I don't know. Maybe he did. I really don't know.
Sir, when you talked to him last night, how did he sound?
Downtrodden, as always. Nalulungkot siya dito eh. Ako rin nalulungkot din ako eh dahil hindi patas eh. Sana if we stick to the facts and to the evidence. I'm telling you, if the government stuck to the facts and the evidence, hindi dapat i-file yan. And lahat ng mga criminal cases ko na very, very hot, na galit ang mga tao, preliminary investigation pala, sinasabi ko, walang ebidensya, walang crime na nakomit. Nagta-trial kami for 10, 15 years and then na-acquit mga kliyente ko. Nagagalit yung mga korte, yung Court of Appeals, Court of Tax Appeals, nagagalit. Sinabi, these cases should not have been filed for lack of evidence. That's where we are today. I'm telling you now, walang ebidensya. Hindi dapat ma-file.
Walang ebidensya.
Walang ebidensya. Hindi dapat ma-file. Walang crime. Yung kliyente ko, kliyente namin. But,
despite the testimonies in the Senate and the House, sir?
Whose testimonies, Tina?
Like Gutesa.
Walang testimonies in Gutesa that will stand in court.
The DPWH officials.
Res inter alios acta, that's a principle in law that a conspirator cannot bind his co-conspirator. Kasi kung sabihin ko na akusado ako ng murder, sabihin ko kasama ko si Tina doon, pwede ba yun? Just because dinawit kita, masasama ka na sa asunto. Di ba hindi tama? That's what's happening sa Senado. Kasama ko yun, damay ka. Kasama ko yun, damay ka. Hindi pwede. Res inter alios acta.
Is his whole family with him now?
I don't know. I don't know.
Does he have family here right now?
I don't know. I'd be speculating. Not relevant information at this time. For me.
Business interest, does he have business interest now? Would you know?
I don't know, Alex. Sorry. I'm guessing wala sa salain niya. At least wala ako napansin sa salain niya.